Hi everyone, welcome back to the Barbell Baddies podcast. I am your host, NPC wellness competitor Marisa Beltran. On this podcast, we'll be talking about fitness, bodybuilding, mindset, self-belief, and all things in between. If you are a person who is interested in going to the gym, wanting to learn more about bodybuilding, wanting to create better habits to achieve your goals through self-belief and mindset, you're in the right place. Before we start, how is everybody doing? Have you asked yourself how you're feeling today? Have you checked in with yourself? I think this is something that I'm slowly learning to do myself. I'm really just checking in with my body and how I'm feeling. This week, for me, has just been an up and down emotional roller coaster. I recently hung out with my girlfriends, and it's funny because I used to never say girlfriends, so I don't know, if it's just a thing that you say as you start getting into your late 20s. But we had a little hangout session, and I was not having a good mental health day. I was honestly just really down on myself and not being nice to myself. I'm sure a lot of my listeners have experienced this and can relate. And in that situation, those emotions made me reflect and think, okay, the way I am talking to myself right now, would I tell my besties that? When I think of my best girl group of friends, I just think of us hanging out as high schoolers, and I see myself in high school. Would I tell my 17-year-old self these mean things? And oh my gosh, no, absolutely not. And I think, okay, would I tell my 17-year-old self these things? What would I say instead? Which is the topic of today's episode. I feel like this isn't I would tell my younger self to stop comparing myself, which is great. That's awesome. But I think this is more of an episode of I would tell my 17-year-old self everything I've been up to, almost like a check-in, some things that we've learned, and a reminder to be proud of what I have done, because my 17-year-old self would be so fucking proud. Your 17-year-old self would be so fucking proud. And I think about, my little sister, and she's 17 right now. And, I think this is a reminder for everyone who's listening, if you're 17 or younger, to be proud of what you have accomplished, even at 17, 16, 15 years old. We need to normalize being proud of our big and our small accomplishments. I think that these negative emotions began because I am one of 4 people who traditionally is in charge of the 10-year high school reunion. And yes, my high school reunion is coming up. It's next year. I was student body president. And so from what I was told is that the student body and senior president and vice presidents planned this. And I feel like it got me thinking, oh my gosh, what have I even accomplished? What's my job description going to be on the note cards or, wherever they share what everyone is doing? I haven't done anything. And those feelings just bled into the following days. Then I'm like, okay, girl, slow down. Then I thought of what I said earlier, which was, would I tell my friends these mean things? Would I tell them, girl, you haven't done shit with your life? Would I tell my 17-year-old self these negative thoughts? After the realization that I need to be nicer to myself, I thought about sharing this experience with you all. And why not make it into an episode? And maybe, even if it helps one person, that's all I want. I just hope this helps at least one person. When you notice your negative self-talk, would you tell your 17-year-old self that? I think this episode is really all about mindset and how we choose to speak to ourselves, recognizing the wins and the growth from the losses. Or this whole situation could be me having a quarter life crisis, but I prefer the first option. My negative thoughts included things like, wow, you've only gotten your bachelor's. Or, wow, you're still not a lawyer. You still haven't gotten into high school. And I also want to preface these thoughts come from things that people really have told me. So if you're listening and you have similar thoughts and you can recognize that these also come from external factors of people telling you this, like, I feel you, I see you. And if I imagine 17-year-old Marisa in front of me, if you can imagine your 17-year-old or even just your younger self in front of you, would you feel good telling yourself this? Because I would not feel good telling myself this. Not only is it just mean, it's looking at life and things in such a negative way. And don't quote me on this because I heard this a long time ago. I don't know where I heard it from, but it just stuck with me. And it's that it takes more energy to frown than it does to smile. If anything, I should be proud of what I have accomplished and what is yet to come. If you're listening to this and are having negative self-talk, you should also be so proud of what you have accomplished and what is yet to come. I think we can get so down on ourselves about still not having accomplished something, especially when everyone around you is accomplishing that. But we need to learn to celebrate ourselves for things that are not accomplished yet. We should celebrate that this is something we still want to do and are working towards it. Celebrate what has been accomplished and celebrate what is yet to come. That's going to be the mantra or affirmation for this episode. I would tell myself, girl, you freaking have a bachelor's degree. You are working on your master's degree right now. And you still have plans of going to law school next. Sorry, I need a little break. But the first thing I would tell 17-year-old Marisa is that we are following our dreams from 10 years ago and the new dreams we have created now, like becoming a professional bodybuilder. That we went through a competition prep that required the utmost discipline we have ever gone through. And even though we wanted to give up, we didn't. We did not give up. Maybe getting to our dreams from 10 years ago, like becoming a lawyer, and our new dreams now, like becoming a professional bodybuilder, is going to take longer than what we expected. And that other people are getting there much faster, but that's okay. The way it is planning out for me is what's best for me. The way that your life is planning out for you is what's best for you. What if my plans happened like other individuals' plans and it didn't work out? How defeated would I be? How confused about my purpose would I be? My life plan is my life plan, and my stepping stones, the steps in my life that are working towards my dreams, are tailored to what's best for me. Do I not want the best? Do you not want the best? The best that life has to offer? I would assume, yes, of course, duh, you deserve the fucking best. The next thing I would tell myself, and maybe it's similar to what I said first, but I would say we kept pushing forward no matter how many obstacles stood in our way. Tell yourself, remind yourself, you kept pushing and going no matter how many obstacles stood in your way. I would tell myself, we learned about perseverance through our failures. Ooh, I love that. Maybe that's the mantra of this episode. They both are. We learned about perseverance through our freaking failures. We learned that failure is not a bad thing. It is actually an amazing lesson. It's a tough lesson, don't get me wrong, but that is where we grow. Do you want to stay stagnant or do you want to grow? If you are able to detach yourself from these negative feelings about failure, you will learn the greatness of what failure really is, which is perseverance. I personally think people that learn and know perseverance will go super far in life because you know what is on the other side of failure. So those are two big and deep things I would tell 17-year-old Marisa and what I would recommend you tell yourself when you notice negative self-talk. Number 1 is we celebrate what we have accomplished and what is yet to come. And number 2, we learned about perseverance through our freaking failures. And honestly, this has probably been my favorite episode to record so far. I still love the other episodes, but this one, all of them come from my heart. All of them come from love. But this one, I don't know. This one hit deep. And as cheesy as it sounds, I poured a lot of love into it. And as this podcast grows, you will all get to see that I am a very cheesy person. But for real, I hope this sends a lot of love and light to all my listeners. So to conclude today's episode, let's share some gratitude. Let me know in the Q&A box, email me or DM me 3 things you're grateful for today. Also, real quick before we start, it was funny because I had someone tell me, why are you giving out homework at the end of your podcast? And I thought that was so funny because, there's no pressure to feel like this is homework. This is just something that I like to do and want to share with my community of people that are listening, because doing something like sharing 3 things I'm grateful for every day really has changed my life. And sometimes even when I'm in a bad mood, this shifts my perspective and makes me realize that my life, I'm very blessed. I'm blessed, and maybe I can look at other people's lives and I'm like, wow, they're so much more blessed. Why am I not blessed like them? But like I said, it shifts my perspective and it makes me grateful for what I have, and I don't think about what other people have. So for today, I am grateful for, I think I said this before, but I'm grateful for my days off, specifically because I get to do what I want. And today I took a nap. I needed a nap. So I'm grateful for that. My number 2 is I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to travel. I hope I get to go to Chicago to visit my family up there in March. And I'm definitely going to Vegas in May for EDC. It's a rave, if anybody has heard about it. I have never been to Vegas. And if you want me to be honest, I know everyone's like, oh my gosh, you need to go gamble. But I want to go see the bodybuilding gyms. I'm trying to go get a bomb gym session and maybe meet some like famous bodybuilders there. But number 3, and honestly, I might always say this, but I am super, super, super grateful that my family, my partner, my dogs, my friends are all healthy and they're here with me, and that I can contact them at any time. As always, I hope you all have a beautiful and abundant week. We'll chat again next Monday. New episodes come out every Monday, so I will see you all then. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. This podcast was inspired from my obsession with anime and bodybuilding, so I wanted to create and find a community of like-minded individuals. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and a 5-star rating. Higher ratings and positive reviews can lead to increased visibility, making it easier for new listeners to discover this podcast. You can also follow the socials in the podcast description notes and DM me, email me with any questions, episode topics, or feedback. Bye!